Could XCN hypothetically reach the price of $1 sometime in 2025, this year? I think maybe, even though that's not financial advice. The reason why is because throughout history, it does really indicate how this year could be a very special year. And even if we take a look at it, historically speaking, as a worst case scenario, we do know that altcoins, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. So basically a year and a half. Now, when did the last Bitcoin halving event happen? It happened back in April of last year in 2024. So 18 months from then would actually mean around October this year. Now, people may be thinking, okay, are you saying that, XCN as worst case is going to peak at exactly October of this year? I'm not saying that. It's just a good benchmark, in my opinion, if anything. Each altcoin is going to peak at its own time. It's not all necessarily going to peak all at the exact same time. However, again, historically, this has been a pretty good benchmark. If anything, it could always happen later, which would be fine because it's more time for me to accumulate. Or let's say in a better scenario, it happens a little bit earlier, which would of course be amazing. However, again, this does give a good benchmark, which is why I'm more so taking a look at 2025. However, even besides that, we take a look at a very reputable individual, Charles Hoskinson, and he kind of supports how 2025 maybe could be a very special year, at least from what I analyzed, because take a look at a video that he was a part of back in November of 2024. He did say that in the next 1 or 2 years, he could very well see Bitcoin reaching anywhere between $250,000 all the way up to $500,000. Now, of course, this is for Bitcoin, right? It's not for altcoins necessarily. However, we do know that typically Bitcoin does very well. Usually, some altcoins, they sometimes typically go along with the ride. So again, if you take a look at his best case, a year, that's November this year. It kind of fits in line with that October timeline that I mentioned before, at least based off a worst case scenario, historically speaking. So I think 2025 could be a very amazing year. And Charles, again, he's no random individual, right? Co-founder of Ethereum, founder of Cardano. So he knows what he's talking about. Now, granted, he can't predict the future in the sense that I don't think he knows exactly when, or I don't think he has this magic crystal ball, at least to my understanding, to know exactly when it's going to happen in the future. However, even besides that, when a reputable individual like that has a speculation, I'm going to pay attention. I'm not necessarily going to believe it 100%. However, I think that if anything, it does give a very good benchmark. And not to mention, we all know that XLM and XRP is on the rise. And why does this matter? It's because Ripple, aka XRP, Stellar, aka XLM, we do know they're both very solid projects. Take a look at Ripple. We all know that it has massive potential. We take a look at the Stellar blockchain. That's absolutely wonderful. It's lightning fast. Many people arguably say it's number one. Now, this is debatable, but still, these two projects, they do have good potential in my opinion. Now, naturally, as a result of that, what happens? People typically who are focused on the space when it comes to global trade and finance, when it comes to the payments market, they usually sometimes get bored in some cases and they want to move on to the next best thing. And we've seen that happen when it comes to XCN, aka Onyxcoin, because naturally, take a look at what happened also when it comes to Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. People eventually moved on to Pepe, to Dog with Hat, to Floki, to Book a Meme. It's only natural. Sometimes people want to look for the next best thing, or they want to try to find the next big thing. And when it comes to something like XCN, man, I think it has the potential to really be the next big player in this space because, as the old saying goes, a high tide raises all ships. If the global trade and finance space and the payments market, at least projects that are focused on that, have a lot of amazing attention, it's only fair to assume that XCN will get some as well because it is pretty much focused on the same thing as Stellar and as well as Ripple. And we're seeing a glimpse of that as of right now. And keep in mind, for the longest time possible, I think the reason why XCN was kind of unnoticed in a sense was because a lot of people, they were kind of scared of whatever went on with Ripple and the SEC, right? I never thought that XRP was a security. However, even besides that, many people were kind of, iffy about this, right? And for the longest time, we didn't really see many projects enter this space. Yeah, sure, there was XDC, there was XCN, but many developers, they chose to focus on AI projects, on gaming projects, because it was viewed as a less risky market. But really, if you take a look at the pure statistics, or at least future predicted numbers, it could really showcase how the global trade and finance market and the payments market, even currently, is actually very massive and has a lot of potential. The payments market currently valued at over $2 trillion. The global trade and finance market is predicted to be worth up to $5 trillion by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. Let's say, put that against, let's say, the AI market, which is predicted to be worth nearly $2 trillion by 2030, according to Grandview Research, that's kind of a night and day difference right there. Even as of right now, the payments market is valued more than that. So you got to think about that. People may think that AI has a lot of potential. Well, actually, the payments market, the global trade and finance market, actually, hypothetically, in my opinion, arguably has a lot better potential. It doesn't necessarily mean that the AI market is bad or anything like that, but this market, it's traditionally proven to work. We've seen it work time and time again throughout history. We do know people like projects that are focused on this. It was just kind of a bad timing in a sense that, that happened with the SEC and Ripple. Now, granted, it was also somewhat a blessing in disguise in a sense, because as a result of many developers kind of not really wanting to enter that space because of the stigma of Ripple, what happened? Not many competitors nowadays, right? Take a look at it. When people are asked, hey, what is your favorite project in this space? Typically, they can only name 4. What is that? Of course, they know XRP, they know XLM. But XDC and XCN, that's kind of like the 3 and 4. You know what I mean? People can't really name 10 players in this space for the most part, even more than 4. Like, not many people can do that. The average individual, I'm not saying people who are really paying attention to this space, but I'm just saying generally speaking. So as a result of that FUD and fear, not many competitors. And guess what happens if there really isn't that many good options once that bull run is in 5th gear? The attention is pretty much going to be concentrated in 4 projects. Now, naturally, because XRP and XLM, many people consider to be a dinosaur, guess what happens? Their 3rd and 4th choice is going to be XCN and XDC. So it's actually a blessing in disguise, if anything. And there's really nothing wrong with Onyx not really having the best adoption, because keep in mind, XCN is the native token of the Onyx protocol. The Onyx protocol is a decentralized blockchain infrastructure that is designed to improve financial services. It doesn't have the best adoption. I'm going to say that straight up, because that actually, is the case, in my opinion. It doesn't have good adoption. It has good exchange listings. When it comes to XCN, for instance, you take a look at Coinbase, you take a look at, some place like Kraken, KuCoin, Gate.io. It's good in terms of exchange listings, but adoption isn't the best. But it doesn't really matter, because if people are believing in Ripple and Stellar, naturally, a lot of them are going to move on to XDC and XCN. And even though the adoption may not be the best, sometimes people just care about hypothetical upside. This does play a very vital role. I think this year could be so special because there's over 600 million crypto owners, more than ever before in history, according to Crypto.com research, not to mention the payments market, the global trade and finance space. It's on the rise. People are no longer scared of these type of projects. Not to mention XCN, the momentum is there. The community is there. Take a look at it, right? It really is heading in this promising direction. I'm not saying it's going to be a straight shot, by the way, to $1. There's going to be multiple pullbacks, in my opinion, along the way. It's only speculative. However, that's just the way I view it. But even besides that, $1 for XCN in 2025 really wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. There's a lot of historical data that kind of supports why this could be a very special year. Not to mention, you take a look at the trajectory for XCN, and also how, not to mention, there's a lot of attention in this space as of right now. Kind of the doors have opened in a sense that people are no longer scared. This could be a big narrative. I'm not saying that meme coins and AI projects are going to do bad. Of course, people are going to love AI naturally. They're going to love, meme coins. But this, I think, has a place too. And I think it has hypothetically good potential, which is why I believe in it. I'm not saying that I'm going to go all in, because all I'm doing is on dollar cost averaging, anytime or income, acquiring, holding, and just waiting. And this is just my strategy. No one has to follow it. But I do believe in XCN. And again, at the price of $1, really, is it that bad? Considering current circulating supply at that point, market cap would be around $31 billion. Dogecoin reached over 80 billion at one point. I don't think this is too much to ask for. So if anything, I don't think it's bad. Keep in mind, $1 is around a 28x from here. So it's not going to be the best, but considering how much XCN has pumped, I don't think it's that bad anyways. And again, $1, that's still my price target for this bull run. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.